1FM 91.3 Good Times, Greatest Hits. Good morning to you and welcome to The Bright Side. You're hanging out with Carol and Shazad. And joining us here in the studio this morning, so excited to welcome our very special guest, Dr. Cheryl Kam. Now, Dr. Cheryl Kam is actually the creator of Calm supplements and nutrient courses. She's a functional medicine nerd, a mom of 4, in to talk about how we can all live our life vibrantly, especially in our 40s, because we were just talking about this earlier, Shazad. When you're 40, stuff starts to happen.
Yeah.
Energy levels, metabolism, you're tired, you're burnt out. So, Dr. Kam, good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I am so honored to be here.
Oh,
It's our pleasure to have you.
she is so bubbly and so colorful. I just absolutely love it. Join us on Facebook. We're live right now as well. Facebook.com/1FM91.3. So, Dr. Cheryl, Dr. Kam?
Yes. Call me Cheryl.
Cheryl? I love that. I'm just testing, you see. What do your
That's already
clients
making
say?
you calm, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Cheryl, so
To
what
my
does it...
children, I'm mama, so.
Aw, Mama Cheryl. What does it mean to live vibrantly, and how can we all live vibrantly in our 40s?
You know something? I am still discovering this myself. However, my background really was burning out 3 times before I really decided that I needed to walk the talk and do this, you know? So, really, I'm here. My mission is to empower high-performing women and men to achieve vibrancy through simplicity, because there's so much complexity, right? So no need for it to be complex. I've got simple solutions. If you can Google me, drcherylkam.com, look at me up on Instagram.
So you were a GP. Or you still
Yes,
are.
yeah.
And you were burning out as a GP.
No,
and then you
man,
decided,
I think-
okay, I got to change my routine up.
In retrospect, I was burning out as a medical student already.
Okay.
Right,
For the hours
you know.
you were putting in?
And what's burnout? I mean, let's talk about burnout so then you know what vibrancy really is.
Right.
Okay.
Because, you know, I think that a lot of us regular folk living the urban lifestyle is on some level of burnout. Let's check it out, right? So I kind of look at it as 5 stages of burnout. They're not distinct stages, but it's kind of a spectrum, and
Okay.
we often flick between the two. I think we might identify some of the symptoms, okay? So the first stage of burnout is the honeymoon phase. What is that like? That is like full enthusiasm, full belief in yourself, like being the very perfectionist,
Right.
high-achieving type person. And you have goals, and you have plans, and you're very enthusiastic. That's the honeymoon phase.
Okay.
That's the first stage of burnout. And if you're not self-aware at that point, then you get into stage 2, where when you have the onset of stress, you double down on your efforts. You put your head down and you just keep going. You know, like this is the only way you know how to do it. Little by little, you don't realize that some of your self-care practices have gone away, and little by little you don't realize that you're prioritizing work above your friends and your enjoyment and the little useless hobbies that you used to have type of thing that gave you joy,
Okay, so that's a
Right.
sign when you're starting to pull away from the things you used to enjoy.
because you're doubling down on work,
Ah.
which is fine in pockets of time and in seasons in your life, but then if you don't then come out back into zero burnout and you don't practice the self-care or get the right nutrients and so on, then it goes into step 3, burnout stage 3, chronic stress, where you're chronically sort of stressed by that point, and also usually you might use alcohol to chill out. You might be using a drug or 2 by that point. And not even just addictions to those things. Addictions to deadlines is also considered something. Like you need that adrenaline. You need that... Everyone's... Why are you guys nodding?
No, addiction to a deadline.
Yeah.
Is that something
Yeah.
that...
Okay,
No, a lot of this is resonating. I have to say.
Right.
I'm
So-
pretty sure a lot of our listeners can identify
You know,
with
when
some
you
of
need
this.
that dopamine, when you need to like clean up the house, or you need to do like tick all the things off on your list, then you feel good, right?
okay.
About yourself.
Okay.
So this is like the chronic stress. Actually, this kind of chronic procrastination can kind of seep in at this stage of burnout stage 3, okay? Once you head towards stage 4, you are really feeling the typical burnout, apathy. Can't be bothered anymore. Late to work. Boss tells you off, don't care. That type of situation. There's a little bit of personal neglect, don't shower, don't wash your hair for so long, and a wish to escape. Yeah, I'll go on a retreat and I'll be fine. Like, I just want to escape and sit on the beach all day.
Okay,
like,
so-
this is enough. This is burnout stage 4.
A lot of my friends are at that stage right now.
Sorry?
They all want to escape. A lot of my
right.
They're
friends
like,
are at
oh,
that.
what do you want to do when you retire? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing. I just want to do nothing. Leave me alone. I want to be on a beach. Like, you can't even think about like the next thing. You've forgotten and completely disconnected with what brings you joy.
Right.
Right? And by this point, it's very, very common at any stage of burnout to already have the hormone disorder, the thyroid problem, the weight stagnation, right? Anxiety, sleepless nights, difficulty sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all these are actually connected
These-
to burnout. Okay. I thought they were like standalone issues on their own. Now we're going to be heading live on Facebook, so do join us there, especially if you have questions for Dr. Cheryl Kam. Do drop them via WhatsApp 88550913 or as a comment on our Facebook Live. We'll be back with more about how you can live vibrantly and how this is different for men and women, and also particular areas we should be paying attention to in our 40s. Back with more in just a while. Keep it right here on 1FM.
91.3. 1FM.
So, what's stage 5 of burnout?
Oh, stage 5 is
Cheryl.
like the chronic fatigue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that different from like wanting to do nothing?
That is actually sends you in a stage of, say, you're already having some level of depression. It takes about a year or two of really, really good effort and guidance to get out of it. And these people have cellular damage by that point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
So it's a physical thing as well.
it is a physical thing. They would say want to get out of bed and can't, and you need a coffee. Or you literally just can't even get out of bed. You have muscle fatigue by that point. You would say, oh, I really want to get healthy now. Let me go for a walk. And you'll go for a simple 10-minute walk, and then you'll have to rest for the next 3 days. That's a chronic fatigue situation. So I've seen people at the extremes, and I've worked with them, and it took 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to
Wow.
really get them up. And that is not holding down a job.
Okay.
Oh, that's
You're
what-
not
oh.
holding down a job by that point. So where I want to catch people is in the
Before.
stage 1 and 2
Right.
before you get into stage 3, 4, and 5. While, you know, I'm just in my work, I was just going more and more upstream. So if you can prepare for your 40s and your 30s, amazing.
Yeah.
If you can prepare for menopause before you menopause, great, right? I mean, why not?
But a lot of the times it just kind of creeps up on you. You know, you're not like, oh, I see signs of burnout. You're more like, oh, today I'm so tired. And then the next day, oh, I'm still very tired. You're not really processing
Yeah.
all these like different stages of burnout.
Absolutely.
How about, is this manifest itself differently in men and women?
Ooh, I love the question. I predominantly see women because I am one herself. And we have this really interesting cycle of life or seasons of life, right? Where we're like, you know, not having a period. And then after that, you go into womanhood and you have a period. And then you are working on fertility. And then,
Yeah.
postnatal, pregnancy, postnatal. And then very soon after, it's like perimenopause and menopause, you know? So these are more complex,
Right.
Really, really more complex and very, very prone to the effects of chronic stress and a high cortisol on our hormones.
So when you say high cortisol, what does that mean? What's happening in our body?
A cortisol
our bodies?
predominant system is when you are stressed and your body thinks it's fighting a bear, but actually it's only really trying to meet a deadline. Right? But your body and our Paleolithic bodies are responding like we're fighting a bear, hormonally speaking. So this happens on the daily, chronically, right? And we have these high levels of bear fighting hormones going, coursing through our veins, and this down-regulates everything else that needs to happen: our fertility, our hormonal balance, our thyroid, right? It brings up a lot of sugar spikes because when you're fighting a bear, you need a lot of sugar to respond. And this is the same for men and women as well, right?
So does that mean at this stage you would see yourself craving for sugary things?
Absolutely.
Like food, like gummies or sweets, etc., or ice
okay.
cream even?
You're identifying?
Yeah, because I sometimes
Absolutely.
I don't know why, I just need to have a gummy right now. Like I need this, I'll like drive to however far just to get that particular kind of gummy.
Did
I'm
you
like,
say
just-
spice as well?
Not spice, but more of
Just sugar. Okay, right.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, spice craving is an interesting one that you just brought it up because spice craving or craving for really more and more flavorful foods, that is a symptom of a very particular nutrient deficiency, which is also quite common. That's
Oh.
zinc. Yeah.
Oh,
So when
I
you
love my
have
spice.
when you have a
Okay.
zinc deficiency, the chances of you being a little bit more like, oh, I need my spice and I need flavorful foods because I can't seem to taste otherwise.
Okay.
You know, you lose your sense of taste and smell. It dampens.
What
down
does
a
zinc
little
do
bit.
for the body?
Ooh. Zinc is a very foundational nutrient, and it's involved with your bones, it's involved with your mental health, it's involved with anything to do with growth and development as well. So a lot of teens and children are actually short of zinc. But I'll tell you the number one mineral that 90% of people living in urban environments are short of. 90%. You don't even have to test. You just have to throw a stone and pick a person
Wow.
out of the crowd and give them some
I
magnesium,
had a feeling it was that.
right?
Yeah.
And they'll
Okay.
be like, oh my God. So that is why when you look me up online, like the first thing that I'm pushing to people is Calm supplement, because that is pure magnesium, and I use that for my sickest patients. I get them to open up the capsule because you can't even process the capsule. Get them to open it up and shake it into some water and drink it. 10 minutes later, chill.
Oh, wow.
Why are we as short of magnesium?
Well, it's, we are, again, our bodies are Paleolithic bodies, but we're living in modern times, So our bodies haven't adjusted, right? And stress makes us pee magnesium out at a higher rate. So that's it. We've got daily stress and the magnesium that we do take in from fruit and veggies, which is increasingly, it's decreasing because of over farming, right? Not just that, we're peeing it out. That's it.
Okay.
And you drink coffee? Yeah, we pee that out even
no,
more.
I drink a
love
lot of
coffee,
coffee.
and I just love coffee. So, at least you love these things. You know how to compensate. But
Yeah.
most people out there need to know this info.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
not
gosh.
widely available.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot about magnesium, but I don't necessarily understand the implications of having more or less how much magnesium is enough. Like
Did
how many
you-
mgs?
Did you know that if your magnesium levels are not sorted out, and that's 90% of the population, you're not going to absorb vitamin D.
Okay.
You're not going to absorb
Oh.
zinc very well. You're not going to absorb calcium very well, right? So it affects your bones, your hormones,
Yeah.
your muscles, your brain function. It's a foundational nutrient, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
That's
this is
why
crazy.
you push it. That's why you push it from the very start.
So I
Okay.
created it in a form where it was, filler-free, low tox. Because really, my sickest patients need the cleanest formulas. Yeah, it comes in a capsule, not a tablet, because a tablet's been glued together, and they cannot digest this. They just can't.
Oh, I didn't know that tablets were glued together.
I mean,
know
they're
that?
bound
Compressed.
together with, they're compressed
Other
and bound
stuff.
together. And some digestive systems just poop the damn tablet out, no?
Oh, wow.
Because digestion's so poor by that point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if we're
Okay.
everyday stressed and functioning on cortisol and sugar and bear fighting, then digestion will shut down and reproduction will shut down, right?
What are some other common health issues individuals in this age group actually deal with? How do we manage that?
40 plus? Yeah, I mean, the effects of stress and the urban environment, they catch up with us at 40, right? It's not so easy to avoid by that point the signs of, wrinkles or the signs of like a crazy cycle or heavy bleeds, right? And another one is weight stagnation. Yeah. So my community, I'm like, okay, what bothers you most? Is it your hormones? Is it your nutrients? Actually, a lot of people are worried about their weight, and actually that could be one sign that things are going not quite right in the right direction, But the approach is usually wrong. The approach to go harder. The approach to, I just need to work out. I just
Yeah.
need to eat less.
Yeah, isn't that what everyone
And
says
these
at
are
this stage?
undernourished people,
Yeah.
right? Overweight and undernourished.
Because they think like the more I eat, the more weight I'm going to put on. So I'll eat less. And then that, triggers like cravings. And then you're like probably dehydrated at this point, not getting enough nutrients. But actually that can... So what's the alternative approach?
Well, I'm in the business of creating health.
Right.
So why don't we gain health first? Because after that, your weight's going to be like a secondary issue.
Okay.
When you gain health, your body's going to be the weight that it needs to be. That's it. That's
Okay,
it.
let's talk about how we can gain health. Is that a pill? Does that come in a pill as well that we can buy at like say NTUC?
Yeah. I mean, that is why I do the work that I do. You know, I was asking all these questions about how do we really be healthy? And, you know, studying medicine was one way of answering the question. And then studying the science of functional medicine as we know it now is one other way. You know, I was also educating myself with other naturopaths and TCM, Chinese medicine philosophies as well, and to really try to find the answer.
Sounds
to
very
what health
holistic,
is.
actually. Okay, we're just going to be jumping back live on air to continue our chat with Dr. Cheryl Kum. Hang tight. Abdul and the promise of a new day here on 1FM 91.3 Good Times Greatest Hits. Good morning to you, and hopefully you are enjoying the new day and living very vibrantly as well. In fact, our guest for today, Dr. Cheryl Kum, we are live on Facebook with her as well, is in to talk about living vibrantly. And earlier on, we were talking about the effects of stress and burnout and how that can have an impact on your body, and how certain ingredients, like I think you shared on Facebook, like magnesium is actually a baseline from where we can actually look at how to improve our health. Can you just, recap some of those thoughts?
Absolutely. So 90% of people walking around today have a magnesium deficiency. This is not something that we can test for easily. The tests cost more than the supplements.
Wow.
So my strategy with my patients was more or less, take these. They're so safe.
Yeah.
You couldn't overdose them if you tried.
Yeah.
And let me know how it goes.
Right.
What is magnesium responsible for?
Magnesium is a foundational nutrient. All our cells need it. We need it for hair growth. We need it for our hormone health. You need it to, for your heart to pump regularly and well, right? You need it to keep your blood pressure in check, and you need it to keep your bones intact, right?
Wow.
So people are saying, oh, I want to avoid osteoporosis. I'm going to take calcium. You got to take your magnesium.
Before you get to the calcium.
And then you're
Okay.
going to absorb calcium from food. Calcium tablets are notoriously just, they pass through your body.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of talk about magnesium, but
Yeah.
I've never really thought about the impact that it can have on your body,
There are
or the
about
importance.
11 forms of magnesium now, and that seems to confuse a lot of people. Oh, which one do I go for? This one's good for the heart. This one's a little bit better for the heart. That one's a little bit better for the brain. Hey, I just chose the form that gets into your bloodstream.
Milk of
as
magnesia.
soon-
You heard of that, right?
No,
That-
that's,
I just-
yeah,
that's-
antacid,
right.
right? That's magnesium oxide, I believe,
Okay.
and so a very, very small proportion gets into your bloodstream.
Ah.
Now, what is the one that you can look me up, because I sell Calm, right? I make magnesium glycinate pure, and at that dose, you'll get the highest level of magnesium in your bloodstream, and it's then going to go around your body doing the things that it needs to do.
So, what do most of your clients kind of come to you for? What issues are they? Is it burnout? Is it generally burnout? or the other
Burnout is something that we hate to admit to ourselves that we're
Right.
experiencing, right? I never kind of told myself I was burnout. I never even used the
'Cause
term
it's a-
on myself.
is it a
'cause I
denial
was
thing as well?
Denial.
Right.
It happens more often to high achievers and high performance people as well, and so it feels like failure, you know. But let's talk about the conditions. I mean, we'll have PCOS. Right,
What's that?
which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, right? We'll have that's where you have cysts on the ovaries and you're gaining weight and having acne, and you're also having an irregular cycle by
Okay.
that point. You know, cycle abnormalities like heavy bleeds, very painful bleeds, that sort of thing. Terrible PMS.
Okay.
right?
That's for the ladies. What should we look out for in the men?
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, so men, right? Men are very straightforward. So what do they need to look out for around this time in their life? They need to look out for their woman.
Wow.
Then
Okay.
women tend to be the caregivers.
Yeah.
They tend to be the consumers of health. When the women are empowered, they'll take care of their men. You see?
Yeah.
And men are
That sounds about
straightforward.
right.
Yeah, men are straightforward. Exercise, eating well, being less stressed, and then the body will fix itself. However, the conditions can be weight gain and weight stagnation, especially around the midsection.
Yeah.
Right? High cortisol state gives you belly fat. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Or early onset diabetes,
Right.
right? High blood pressure, those type of things with men quite
So do not snub
straightforward.
your wife on the phone.
That's a
We've
big
been talking about
no-no.
that.
That's a big
We're talking
no-no.
about phone snubbing today and how you're kind of on the phone and your wife or your not your wife, the spouse is talking to you.
All right.
But my theory was it tends to be more one-way traffic that quite often it's the female who's talking to the male, and they may be the one snubbing.
Oh, yeah.
So less snubbing, be present, and
Be present.
be aware.
So some of these things you might be checking off your list as you're listening to Dr. Cheryl. I mean, I have the weight gain, I have the, heavy midsection, I'm feeling very lethargic, fatigue, chronic fatigue, no motivation in life. If these are things that you're checking off in your head as you're listening to this conversation, hey, join us on Facebook Live, 1FM 91.3. Dr. Cheryl actually talks about how, how she gets her patients to healthy before you can address some of these issues, okay? Because, weight loss is not necessarily the answer to everything. You actually want to look at what are the root causes, all right? So join us on Facebook as we wrap up this very interesting conversation about living vibrantly with Dr. Cheryl Kam.
Okay. Can we roll that, please?
So, Dr. Cheryl, someone comes to you and says, I got weight, I need to lose weight, I need to have energy back, I need to this, that, and other. What are you going to do? You say you want to restore healthy.
Correct.
What is the main thing you will tell them?
After 15 years of doing this, I've got a system that I take people through that works without gaps. And really the first way to start, especially when I'm telling you statistics like 90% are lacking in magnesium, 60% are too low in their vitamin D, and these are foundational nutrients. You wouldn't grow a plant without soil, would you?
Right.
That's true.
Why
Sunlight.
are we trying
Yeah.
to, exactly, and why are we trying to live without the right nutrients, right? So that is a real big gap that I was seeing in my practice, where patients would be coming through several specialists without knowing that they were actually iron deficient or zinc, and copper was out of whack, out of balance. Magnesium was not being sorted out. Vitamin D was on the floor. So simple. So simple that I created a 4-hour long course on it to educate and take a person through their testing, their treatment, and how to optimize and how to sustain this. And ultimate vibrancy is not being on any supplements at all.
Okay. Ooh.
That's the aim then, to be able to function without.
Yeah. I
right.
mean, this area of holistic wellness has a notorious reputation for sending patients out with 12 different supplements and a whole bag of it.
Right. Yeah.
And I call it the supplement graveyard. I have one at home too.
Actually, me too.
Right?
Got a cabinet
Yeah,
full of
show me your
supplements.
cabinet.
Yeah.
That's the supplement
The B, the
graveyard.
D, the Z.
You're like not so sure, not focused. You're like, oh, I'm taking this for that and that for this. And, actually, I don't really know what I'm doing now. Yeah.
So Cheryl, you're saying actually that when people are taking these supplements, it's probably by a certain point you don't need to actually do it, and you can function without them.
Oh, absolutely, yes. You need to be aiming for that. I mean,
Right.
most people can only think as far as, oh, I feel like this, I'm going to take these supplements, but they don't think as far as, oh, how am I going to come off them?
Right.
Yeah.
How is it going to be really sustainable for me? Because, these supplements can set you back $200, $300 a month.
Right.
Ongoing. You may as well take a drug, right? I mean, same price,
Yeah.
maybe
It's-
cheaper,
right.
right? So I'm in the business of getting people off medicines, right? How? Through dealing with the roots of disease. And it's very, very encouraging when more and more doctors are also looking and learning from various arts and sciences, including what we call now functional medicine,
Right.
to educate their practice.
Yeah.
The patient's going to be so happy. You're going to solve so many problems.
I like the idea of shrinking my supplement bill, which means I'm more intentional about what I take, and I'm taking the necessary ones that can actually kind of like boost the rest of my other body bits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a system of recovery, and in a burnout recovery program, we deal first with the nutrients, and it really takes us some time to get there because a lot of us are not eating right.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, in the meantime, it's coffee. Just
right.
Dr. Cheryl, where can people find you if they want to find out more about what you do?
Look me up on drcherylkam.com. That's drcherylkam.com. And click on the yellow bar on top to buy your Calm tablets, and DM me for a special code, especially for 1FM listeners.
Yay.
DM me on Instagram, and then we'll get chatting as well.
Okay,
That'd be
cool. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Dr. Cheryl.
thank you. Very illuminating.
Yeah. All right, magnesium, yeah?
Thank you. Yes,
Shazad,
that's the way to
zinc.
go.
Don't fall asleep now. Don't do it now.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM.